JC Tickets provides first-class trips to Ravens road games, including airfare, 4-star hotels, game tickets, and cocktail parties. We also help provide great seating locations to all Ravens home games. JC Tickets, where the games begin. Visit us at jctickets.net.
Ravens Wrap is sponsored by Bud Light, jctickets.net, Geico Insurance, Dunaway Furniture, Ocean City Golf Club, RussellStreetReport.com, Comfort Inn Gold Coast, Holiday Inn Express, BuyAToyota.com, your official site for Toyota deals. The original Green Turtle, hosted by the Blue Ox Bar and Grill.
And welcome back into the original Green Turtles Ravens Wrap Show on Comcast Speech TV, and now this season also on 47 ABC, WMDT, and 93.5 The Beach. Hey, don't forget, we want to see you in person here at the Blue Ox Bar and Grill. Doors open at 5. Show starts at 7. Food and drink specials. We've got 3 more pairs of Ravens tickets to give away, courtesy of jctickets.net. Our next giveaway is going to be November the 5th. So when you come down and the weeks preceding that, you get tickets. You can put them in the various bins for any one of the games, or if you want to put all the tickets for just one game and give yourself a better chance, you could do so. The next drawing is November the 5th for the Tennessee Titans game. So best of luck to you. Come on down to the Ravens Room. It's one of its kind on Delmarva. Also, we've got Bud Light giveaways and hotel packages as well. So if you're watching this, say, in Dover or Chestertown or Easton on ABC 47, and you win that, you can have a great stay at Ocean City for the weekend and get some holiday shopping done as well. All right, more as we break down here the 29-7 win, the Ravens over the Falcons. Mike Bradley, JJ from Ocean 98, Bobby Vermillion from the Endless Golf Guide. And, guys, we talked about offense. We can get back to that in just a second. But, Bobby, as I alluded to, and JJ, I know you talked about how exciting the offense is, and I am an offensive guy when it comes to football, and that's what I coached. I coach quarterbacks and offensive coordinator. But I'm really excited seeing this defense, the way that they've gotten back at it, back to the Chuck Pagano, Rex Ryan days. And you want to talk a pass rush. 5 sacks each in the last 2 games. And Pernell McPhee, we've talked about him. You want to talk about a versatile guy who can play linebacker and also get down in any one of the defensive line positions, end, nose tackle, stand up, get down to the dirt. He has been huge for this team. And Elvis Dumerville quietly has, 6.5 sacks, Bobby?
I think it's pretty amazing when you're a Ravens fan right now and you can get excited just as much on the defensive side of the ball as you can on the offensive side of the ball. Both sides are playing extremely well. We've got our issues right now with Jacoby Jones catching the ball, but other than that, I think our special teams have played well. So really, the football team as a whole is just in good shape right now. But Mike, you did allude to the defense, and we've been talking about this week after week. C.J. Mosley, what a difference he's been. And then we get Will Hill back this week. He's a guy that the Ravens had. He was suspended for the first 6 games, a former New York Giant safety, and he's a guy I think is going to see a lot more playing time. Oh, yeah. He definitely cut into Matt Elam's playing time. But I think there's a little friendly competition between Suggs and Dumerville. I think they may have a side bet with sacks or something because these 2 guys are getting after the quarterback. And I also think what's making them better is Brandon Williams on the inside. We've talked about that. And McPhee, we can move him around and play him anywhere, and he's a guy that just gets to the quarterback. And that defense looks like it's just creating havoc, and they did some damage to Matt Ryan.
Oh, they certainly did. And, we talked about Tampa Bay's offensive line 2 weeks ago being weak. JJ, the Ravens taking advantage of Atlanta's offensive line. That seems to be the difference, that and Atlanta's defense. But offensively, Matt Ryan's line is not very good.
And maybe you can help me out with this. I don't know the exact stat, but is C.J. Mosley leading the team in tackles?
Actually, I think it's Daryl Smith.
But he's close,
he's
right?
close.
But it's very close.
And it just goes to show you with Ozzie Newsome and the way he drafts, besides I think it's D. Milner, the cornerback out of the New York Jets.
Yeah,
every defensive player that Nick Saban and Alabama have put out there. That's why everyone goes there and plays, because it's a pro-style, defense and all that. I mean, C.J. Mosley, I remember watching on the NFL Network, the Combine. He was good and all that, but they kept saying, he's coming from a pro-style system. You can put him in right away, and he's going to do it. And then, of course, to have Ray Lewis, whatever you say about the man, he's fantastic as a leader and just, guiding this young man. He's already a stud. He might make the Pro Bowl his rookie year. I mean, to lose Ray Lewis and then you just stick in someone else who's like second on the team already and tackles as a rookie and is only getting better, That's something I'm jealous of.
Yeah, and Bobby, I mean, for another week now, Arthur Brown inactive. Again, I guess he's not impressing enough to make the active roster, a guy we traded up for second round out of Kansas State. But if that ends up being a mistake, they made up for it the very next year by drafting Mosley, and they have hit a home run with him.
Yeah, we talked about this a few weeks ago. People are asking, they keep asking, why isn't Arthur Brown active? Why isn't he playing? Well, it's because of C.J. Mosley. Here's a guy that's coming from day one. They love this kid out of college. He stepped in. He started. He's played every game. He's almost probably played every snap as a middle linebacker, and that's why Arthur Brown's not suiting up. And you got an experienced guy in Darrell Smith, and both of them are healthy. They're playing a lot of football, and they're playing good quality football right now. You know, and I would say this, you know, one of the things I've been impressed with the last couple of weeks, and again, it is Tampa Bay, and this week it was Atlanta, but Atlanta's got a good offense with a lot of weapons. Our defensive backs are playing better. I think there's some more chemistry there. With Webb coming back, I think with Hill back and active now, you're going to see a deeper defensive backfield and guys playing a lot of snaps and playing together. And I think that bodes well for the Ravens defense. Plus, when you're getting pressure on the quarterback, you can cover a lot of weaknesses on the back end.
Well, I was shocked, JJ. I don't know how many of the highlights of the game that you saw, but with Atlanta, I was shocked at how they weren't able to get anything downfield at no point.
They didn't have time.
And that's the whole thing. With us, I mean, with the Redskins, we have Ryan Kerrigan had one game where he had like 4 sacks. And for the whole, like the first 6 weeks of the season, we were all like, oh, it was like 3rd or 4th in the league in sacks. Well, it's because he had one game. And, you know, we're playing a weaker opponent, offensive line. But also, I mean, you have someone like Brian Arakpo for us, who was in a contract year. He's done for the year with a pec injury, and he was supposed to be doing all this stuff. We cannot pressure the quarterback. You guys can. It's just the opposite of your offense. We don't have an offensive line. You guys have an offensive line. They always said all the money is spent on the linemen and defensive ends because it's all made in the trenches. That's the entire team. Like you guys said earlier in the first segment, Tom Brady looked mediocre the first 3-4 weeks of the season because his offensive line, and they lost Logan Mathis or whatever his name is.
Mankins, yeah.
Well, they traded Mankins to Tampa Bay for a tight end.
They lost the offensive line, didn't have any continuity. Tom Brady was just a normal quarterback. Now that the offensive line is back, he's back to being Tom Brady.
Yeah, a couple of rookies that they have on the O-line starting to get some experience for them. But, Bobby, when you take a look at the first, well, we're now, through 7 weeks, with the injuries that we've endured to left tackle, left guard. And again, that was the whole theme coming into this year. Rebuilding the offensive line. In some cases, we traded for Zuta, or getting guys back healthy, or re-signing a guy in terms of Monroe. And yet here we are through, several weeks without some of the key guys on the left side to get through that, to have guys stepping up. To have an Owen Daniels, we talked about him last week, to have an Owen Daniels step up for Dennis Pitta, who we thought was going to be a huge loss, and we knew that last year was a huge loss. They have gotten through. It's scary to think with guys coming back healthy for the offense down the road here, plus a defense that's starting to come on. I mean, that's why I think a lot of people, they're flying under the radar a little bit now. A lot of people feel like early on the sky could be the limit for this team. We'll have to see. There's a lot of football to go. But
I think we're going to learn a lot the next 2 weeks. You've got 2 divisional opponents on the road, back-to-back. You got the Ravens coming off 2 great games where they look like they're Super Bowl contenders. But again, it was against Tampa Bay and Atlanta. So let's find out how the offense plays in Cincinnati against Cincinnati. It wasn't that long ago we were talking about how bad the offense played and how bad Joe Flacco looked. We couldn't run the ball. We couldn't protect Joe against the Indianapolis Colts. So let's find out, what team shows up this Sunday and then next Sunday. Then we'll have a better feel for how the rest of the season is going to go. I think these two weeks are key.
JG, we were talking off air about injuries, and the Ravens, again, they've had their fair share so far. We just said they've been overcome it. But the one thing they haven't had is injury, or they've had guys step up at key spots. But, man, when you lose a quarterback like you guys have, it's tough. And there's a reason why those guys are backup. They get a large enough sample size, maybe they get exposed a little bit, and I think that's where we saw with Cousins.
And being with the Ravens, hopefully, and again, you never want, just as a football fan, you never want to see someone a season-ending or career-ending injury. But let's say Flacco, pulls a hamstring or just, a high ankle sprain or something that's a few weeks. Virginia Tech Hokie Tyrod Taylor, he's been there for you guys for a long time, right? So he's ready to go with y'all. Our guys, with Cousins, he comes in a few years, he's out. Now we have Colt McCoy, but we were talking about the injuries with RG3. We were talking off the air. A lot of people don't realize RG3 tore his ACL at Baylor his sophomore year, then got redshirted, then came back. Now he tore the ACL in his other knee, and now he's done the fracture, the dislocated ankle. He's injury prone. Joe Flacco, how many games has he missed? Nothing.
Right.
There you go.
Knock on wood.
There you go.
Yes, yes.
We'll do
There
that.
you go.
But it is important, you know, and to that point too, you're only as good as your quarterback, obviously, in this league. That's the most important position by far. But also keeping your quarterback healthy, keeping him upright is very important. And I will say
He
this.
did get hurt last year, Bobby, and his second year he played hurt. He had a high thigh bruise that he could barely move during the week.
But if you take Tom Brady out for 8 to 10 weeks, or if you take Peyton Manning off the Denver Broncos, you're in serious trouble. And if you took Joe Flacco off the Ravens right now, and we had to rely on Tyrod Taylor, even though he has been there for 3 or 4 years, it's going to be a totally different team. You have to take your hat off talking about the offensive side of the ball and the offensive line to Gary Kubiak. I mean, I think he's made a huge difference. Obviously, everybody's talked about it thus far because we have had success, but I think he's given that offense a lot of confidence. Justin Forsett, great pickup. He's a Kubiak guy. Owen Daniels, Kubiak guy. And then the new center, because we know how bad we were last year, Mike, at the center position.
Yeah, no question. I mean, JJ talked about Steve Smith in the last segment. That was a signing that, I don't want to say completely went under the radar in the national media, but it wasn't one of the highlights. And yet you look now, and I think it was Andy Benoit, Monday Morning Quarterback, said that looks now to be the best free agent signing so far of any team in the offseason.
Well, like Steve Smith Sr., first, where did that come from? Is it because of Torrey Smith?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
yeah.
Okay,
Well,
just
I
as a
think
fa- is that
well,
what
he
it
has
is?
a son. He has a son.
Okay,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
this is the first year I've heard it being
Yes,
Steve
that's
Smith
right.
Sr.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
I still remember, I don't even know, I think I was at Towson University, however, a decade ago.
Wasn't it Towson State?
Yeah, I think he was catching touchdowns from Jake Delhomme when he was
wow,
on the
that's a
Panthers.
blast from the past,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And yet
Yeah, that's
he's
right.
in the league now. He's on pace to have over 1,000 yards, obviously, all the touchdowns and all that. Yet again, Ozzie Newsome, awesome.
Well, and last year, there was a bit of a chink in the armor with some free agent pickups, Bobby, but they bounced back this year. And again, with Owen Daniels, Steve Smith trading for Jeremy Zuta, they more than made up for the likes last year of Michael Huff and Marcus Spears, for instance. It just didn't work out, and Dallas Clark and some of the other Colts, Brandon Stokely, who didn't work out.
You know, Ozzie, obviously, we love Ozzie, and Ozzie we trust is saying that the Ravens fans have. But it's not perfect. It's not a perfect science. You're going to take a gamble on certain players of the draft. I mean, the Ravens, and one of the reasons the Ravens have been so successful, as you know, JJ, is because of the draft. We do not like to give away draft picks. They like to get as many as they can. And you're not going to hit on every draft pick. You know, 2 years ago, Arthur Brown, a good example. Some of that year's draft doesn't look that good. But last year's draft looks awful good right now. So it's a key. And from the Redskins' perspective, you gave away a lot to get RG3.
We're still paying for it.
You drafted Cousins in the 4th round. If he doesn't pan out to be your quarterback, it's going to be trouble.
All right, more of the Ravens Wrap Show, Comcast Beach TV, ABC 47, and 93.5 The Beach. Keep it here. We're back next.
What's this all about?
We're giving Rich the NFL experience of a goal line dive.
Really?
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you could win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Can I make it?
On the internet, yes. Into the end zone, no.
Come see us at Blue Ox.
JC Tickets provides first-class trips to Ravens road games, including airfare, 4-star hotels, game tickets, and cocktail parties. We also help provide great seating locations to all Ravens home games. JC Tickets, where the games begin. Visit us at jctickets.net.